Alright, hey class, here is the box method that we did today, and we are going through to see how we can use it to help us solve trinomials or factor trinomials that has an a value greater than 1. So when we look at this, I have 6x squared plus x minus 12, and the first thing we want to do is use this for our box so that we know like what goes where, so we can kind of get this filled out. So we know 6x squared is going to go into the upper left box. We know that negative 12 will go into the bottom right box. Now the hard part comes in figuring out, how do I figure out what this is going to be, this box in the upper right and the bottom box in the left here. The way we do that is we need to take into account the 12 and the 6 when we're trying to figure out our factors for this. So I know that if I take 6 and I multiply it by 12, that we are going to get 72. And now I need to figure out what are my factors of 72 that if I add or subtract them is going to give me 1x. So if I go through all my factors, I know that I will get down to 8 times 9 is 72, and if I subtract 8 away from 9, I would have 1x. So I know that I can put my 9x here, I can put my 8x here, and now I need to look at the sign in front of the term, and I know I need a positive x. So that means the 9 here would be positive, but the x down here would have to be negative, because I would have to subtract that from the 9 so I could get the 1x. Now that we have all of our boxes filled out, we can go through and pull it all out to write our equation. So I will have 6x squared plus 9x minus 8x minus 12. And now we want to go through and we want to kind of factor them so that we can get two binomials out of this. So if I go through, I want to look at the first two terms, and I also want to look at the last two terms. And we're going to go through and factor out whatever we can. So if I have 6x squared plus 9x, I need to think about what is the largest or greatest common factor that I can factor out of both. And I can see that if I have 6 and a 9, that I know the greatest common factor would be 3. And if I have x squared and x, I can also pull an x out. So here I should be able to pull out 3x, and then in parentheses, I'm going to have 2x plus 3. And that's what I'd have remaining there. Now for the next term, I need to do the same thing. I have a negative 8x minus 12, and I need to think about what is the largest factor that I can pull out of this. Now, if I have 8 and 12, they're both even. I know 2 can go into it, and I also know I can take 4 out. But I can also take a negative with that. So if I take a negative 4 out of 8x, I'd be left with 2x. And if I take a negative 4 out of 12, that would leave me a positive 3. So now that I have these two factored, I want to think about, can I factor it one more time to pull everything back out? So with this, I should be able to go in and factor out 2x plus 3 and 2x plus 3. So I'll take out my 2x plus 3, and inside the parentheses, I'm going to be left with 3x minus 4. And so now we have gone through and we have factored our original equation of 6x squared plus x minus 12, and we factored it into 2x plus 3 times 3x minus 4. Now in class, I reminded you guys that there are many ways to factor a trinomial. You definitely can go online and look at YouTube. This is the one method I'm teaching in class. If you are not comfortable with this one, or you want to learn another method, feel free to go and look at YouTube. But whatever method you decide to use, make sure that you become the master at that one, and that you will use that your go-to method, and you'll know how to use it at all times. Thank you.